Hi, my name's Neil. Thanks for joining me. Welcome to my YouTube channel. For those who don't know, I am a 44-year-old skateboarder learning to skateboard all over again after taking about 25 years break. I've been skating again now for about 5 years, and I would class myself as a transition skater, which means that I skate on mini ramps, bowls, pools, and more recently vert ramps. Now, quite a big part of skateboarding for us older folks and beginners and generally anybody that wants to look after themselves is to be wearing pads and helmets to protect yourself and not get hurt. It's way too easy to sustain life-threatening injuries. People have died from bashing their head on concrete from falling off their skateboard. So I take it very seriously, and I'm sure anybody my kind of age does as well, because we've got responsibilities in older life. So with that, I take my safety gear pretty seriously. If you've followed my channel for any amount of time, you'll see that I've done videos on helmets, elbow pads, knee pads, wrist guards before. Generally, I talk about my experience with them, things I've tried, I have found to be the things that I like and what work well to protect me and to keep me skating, as well as being able to go to work the next day without any injuries. And I'm always interested in trying out new things. Today I'm going to talk about a helmet from a brand called Outdoor Master, which I'd never heard of before, and they're not an established skateboarding brand, but they contacted me via my Instagram and asked me if I would like to try out their skateboarding helmet. So they sent me this skateboarding helmet and this hat and a t-shirt and said, you know, try them out and talk about it. Let us know what you think. So that's what I'm here to do. First off, I want to say the video is not sponsored by them. They just gave me these things to try. No money exchange hands. I'm not being paid to say anything. So just want to be completely transparent. I'm wearing the hat just to show you the brand name, and you know, they sent it to me, so I'm wearing it. But that's as far as it goes. There's no kind of sponsorship or payment been made to say anything particular here. So I just want to be completely honest about that. You know, you might ask why I accept an offer to try out a helmet from a non-skateboarding brand. Well, actually, I don't really care so much about who the brand is. If they've got good products and they work, then I don't think I should be discriminating just because they might not be a core skateboarding brand. But also, I find helmets are such a weird thing, especially skateboarding helmets. You know, I have bicycle helmets and things like that, and I don't seem to be quite so finicky about them, and I don't think cyclists are quite so finicky about them as us skateboarders are about our helmets. A lot of people don't wear skateboarding helmets because they don't like the way they look. They think they feel funny. They think they look funny. Bottom line is that anybody looks funny or weird wearing a helmet the first time you see yourself wearing one. And so you're going to be hugely self-conscious of that because they look weird. Helmets do look weird, skateboarding helmets specifically. You know, that's kind of part of them having to fit within a certain criteria for safety standards, and also that everybody's heads are slightly different. Your head shapes are different. Some don't fit very well. It can be an awful lot of work to try and find one that fits you properly because we all have different shaped heads, but the brands generally have like a mold in various sizes, usually small, medium and large, but a certain head shape mold. And so sometimes people have wider heads and the helmet doesn't fit for that reason, or longer front to back heads, taller heads, whatever. Sometimes they just don't fit right or they don't look right. But that's another thing. In my kind of time of life, I kind of stopped worrying about what I look like in favor of safety, really. I'm not young enough to think that I look cool, and I'm way past bothering whether or not I look cool. I'm not trying to impress anyone. It's just a protection thing, and I enjoy skateboarding and I want to continue to do so. So yeah, let's talk about the product. You can see it looks like a skateboard helmet. It's that traditional kind of skateboard helmet shape. It's got their brand name on the side there, but apart from that, it's completely plain black. It's got that kind of hard plastic shell and that hard foam impact liner. It's got some soft padding liner. Rather uniquely for a skateboard helmet, it's actually got a tightening mechanism on the back there. Now, I've shown you one of these mechanisms before in my helmet video on my channel from a few years ago, where the first helmet I ever bought actually had one of these on it, and that was a ProTech helmet, but it was a hybrid helmet that was for cycling or skateboarding. And this could well be considered the same kind of thing for cycling and or skateboarding. And these kind of mechanisms, they basically work on this dial that you tighten up or loosen off, and it kind of just helps to hug it to your head. Now, I wasn't quite a fan of that tightening mechanism before. I don't think I particularly feel any different about them now, but there's no doubting that it does make the helmet feel a lot more snug and feel like it fits you an awful lot better. So I'm going to put it on anyway. I'll also compare it to the helmet that I've been using up until now, which is a ProTech Classic. That is this one here, which you might kind of recognize as a much more of a skateboard brand. The thing I like about this helmet is the kind of the classic ear cutaway there. It doesn't have that mechanism on the back, but apart from that, it's generally the same kind of construction as this one. So I'll start off, with this one. So trying it on with that mechanism on the back, fitting wise, it is a perfect fit. And actually we had a bit of trouble when they first sent me the helmet, because I used their measuring system to measure my head, and their measuring system suggested that I would have a large helmet. There's a bit of crossover between the sizes. To be better safe than sorry, I asked for the large size one, which came, and I tried it on, and it was too big for me. It had a bit too much kind of sideways movement, whereas this one is right on the limit of their medium size. So they actually had to send me two in the end. This is the second one they sent me, just for me to actually try it out. And this is actually a perfect fit. It's almost, with that loosened off, it's there is no movement left to right or front to back, and then the mechanism on the back just kind of hugs it up super tight. So it's almost like the most perfect fit I could really get. So it's really solid in that sense, and when it's on, it feels like my ProTech helmet. Now, one thing about it, you can do the strap up here. There's a kind of padding thing here which sort of gets in the way. I could take that off. It's easy to take off. It's kind of gets in the way a little bit, and I understand that it's meant to be a bit of padding for the strap, but I don't really think it's necessary. Also, the kind of angled earpiece there, that length of that strap is not actually adjustable, so that is kind of fixed, and all you've got is this to adjust the angle of the Y piece there. But I could do with this side being a bit longer, because this side, as you can see, is quite a long V. That's how I usually have it adjusted, so that there's plenty of space around my ear, because this one is right on my ear. So as I do it up, I can feel it on my ear the whole time, and it's getting a bit annoying when it's on there. So that's one thing about this kind of strap design that I would say I don't like, but otherwise it's fully adjustable. So if this side was also adjustable, or at least it had a bit more length in the webbing, so that I could actually have the V a bit wider and the clip would be a bit more underneath than up to one side, that might help. But maybe that's a side effect of it being the medium, and I'm right on the limits of the medium. As it looks, I look ridiculous as usual in a helmet. In my previous video, I talked about how I feel like I look like a mushroom. Helmets make your head look like you're a mushroom, and there's no escaping that. I feel that this helmet has a very slightly taller profile, so top to bottom. It feels taller there than my ProTech, and I'll show you that in a minute just to see. But generally, when it's on, it's really comfortable. It hugs really well. I did find during the skate sessions that I was wearing it that maybe this back mechanism, I need to leave it loosened right off, because I felt like it was kind of hugging me a bit too much, to the point where I was sort of starting to get a bit of a headache. And again, it might be that this is just a little bit too small, although it's a perfect fit. It's maybe hugging a bit too tight. They did send different kinds of padding. You've got this padding here that is removable. You can take these padding bits out. They're only velcroed in. You can take them out and wash them. but this is the smallest size of padding. So there's these pieces all around the outside and one in the middle there. So when you get hot and sweaty and they start to stink a bit, you can take that padding out, put it in the washing machine and be fresh for the next session. And there's different thicknesses of padding, and this is the thinnest one. So again, it might be because it's kind of fairly tight on me that I get that kind of feeling like it's a bit too tight maybe. But you know, I don't think it's too tight. I just think that it's so encompassed around your head and so snug that I'm not used to it. So in the skate session, wearing it, it felt just like any other helmet I've had before. Really comfortable. One good thing about it, which is better than my ProTech helmet, is that these vents, especially the ones in the front and the front top here, I can really feel cold air rushing in when I'm skating, which is great because usually you sweat a lot in a skate helmet, and I never felt quite such a good amount of ventilation blowing across my head from any other helmet before. So the ventilation is really good. One thing about skateboarding helmets, especially in the summertime like we're in now, you sweat an awful lot, and when you sweat a lot in a skateboard helmet, they start to drip and it starts dripping down your face. And you know, this has that padding there that kind of absorbs some of that sweat, but also when that gets saturated, that starts dripping. So that has the same kind of problem as every other skateboard helmet. There are some helmets like the 888 Sweat Savers that have a thicker piece around there that is supposed to soak up the sweat more. But the problem is that that gets saturated as well. Once that's saturated, then that starts dripping. So you have to like squeeze it out and look really gross squeezing it out across the floor or something. But there isn't like an easy fix for that. So all helmets, you sweat a lot in the hot weather. So got some footage of some skating with me wearing it, which I'm going to play now. Enjoy, watch that, and when you come back, I'll talk about the sort of differences that I prefer about my ProTech helmet that I currently wear. Anyway, enjoy the skate footage, and I'll see you again in a minute. so I hope you enjoy the footage. That's kind of my regular bits of skating, just practicing, doing what I'm doing. I'm no pro, just learning all over again. You know, it's a slow process, but that's my skating. And if you enjoy that kind of skating, then check out some other videos on my channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're enjoying this one so far, please leave me a like. But let's talk about things that are a bit different about this one and my regular ProTech helmet. So as I said, when I'm wearing it, it's just for reference again, it feels like it's a lot taller. But it's funny, my friends in the skate park said it doesn't really look that much different to your other helmet. So, you know, self-conscious me, maybe. But it's one of those things that people think about when they're looking at helmets, and reasons why they don't want to wear helmets, because they think that they look a bit weird. And so to me, it feels like it's a bit taller. So I will put on my ProTech helmet, and you can be the judge and see what you think. To me, this is like the most low profile helmet that I managed to find, and I really like it. Does that look lower profile? I think it does. Does it look any different, or does it look any less stupid? Probably not. Helmets look stupid. There's no escaping it. You know, same story here. I've got the same buckle up, but as you can see, I've got a lot more space here, and the clip is a lot further round under my chin here. So this strap is just a bit longer than the Outdoor Master one, and I have it really quite wide on that side. Apart from that, the helmets are generally the same, and as I say, the ventilation in the front of this one is not as good as the Outdoor Master one, and maybe that's because the vents are higher up. When you have them sort of more at the front, maybe they get a bit better air coming through them. So great ventilation from the Outdoor Master. Aside from that, the helmets are very, very similar. They have the same kind of foam liner, and they have very similar inner liner, the padding. Now this blue stuff in my ProTech one, I put in myself. I bought it separately because the original black stuff, you can see in the back there, is starting to wear out. It's not at all thick in the first place. So that's one thing people say about ProTech helmets, is that they're not all that comfortable. And when you have them on, it does feel like you just got your head straight on the foam. So again, the Outdoor Master one is a lot more comfortable in that sense. It feels nicer because it's got that padding there. It just feels a lot nicer. That's the only other real differences. Now, I haven't had any big falls with this helmet, any big impacts to test out whether it's any better at saving my brain than this one. I have had plenty of falls in this one. You can see it's quite battle damaged. Now, you are supposed to replace your helmet when you have a heavy fall, and I had quite a heavy fall quite recently, and I'll show you the clip right now. That was probably the heaviest fall I've had in quite some time, and my head bounced off the ramp. I think most often when you have a fall on a skateboard, your head hits the back, so it's that backside hitting on the ramp. That happens quite a lot, and you are supposed to replace the helmet because the foam liner gets squished when you whack your head. So I'm probably due a replacement. I'm not 100% sure whether I will continue to use the Outdoor Master as my replacement for the ProTech. I haven't really decided yet because of those tiny little things that are quite annoying. That strap on my ear and this mechanism on the back being a bit too tight, and generally the helmet being super snug. I'm not sure whether it's as comfortable as it should be, and I think other people probably won't have the same issue as I do. I think it's just because I'm right on the cusp limit of this being the right size or a tiny bit too small. I will again try the large one with the thicker pads in it, but I just feel like it's got too much side to side. So I think I'm maybe quite unlucky that I'm not perfectly suited. Like, my head is perhaps not perfectly suited for this helmet, but there's no saying that you may not be perfectly suited for it. It's maybe just my weird shaped head. The thing with helmets is you always got to try them out. You can't just buy one online and expect it to be perfect. And so that's one thing to be said for going into skate shops and trying them on before you buy. Or if online brands offer returns on you trying them out. Safety gear, I think sometimes they don't offer returns because they think that you're going to have damaged it and then they're liable if somebody else hurts themselves while wearing it. I don't know. I really don't know what to say about that apart from just try things on. And that's why I was keen to try this, because I'm always open to trying something new, something that I might find works better than what I've already got. So for me, this is a great helmet. It's not a skateboarding brand that is sort of recognized in the skateboarding industry, but there's no reason why these shouldn't be recognized as such, because it's a decent helmet. It works well. Reading on the website, they do adhere to all the sort of usual recognized safety standards. So it's not just a generic thing. They've been through a lot of safety testing. I don't know what those safety standards really mean. I haven't read into them in great detail. They certainly look like, reading the info, is that they're focused on the USA market and the USA safety standards. And I think the UK standards are a little bit more stringent than the USA, but maybe that's changed over the years, but certainly used to be that way. But yeah, it's a good helmet. It's solid. I think it would last just as well as my ProTech. I don't know what the prices are, but I will leave some links below. They've given me some affiliate links that you can buy through. I don't know. I think you might get a discount. I can't remember. I'll leave those links below. I think I might get a tiny cut of the sales of if you buy through my links as well. I have no idea. But one good thing about the Outdoor Master brand, which I thought was pretty cool, if you're into other things other than skateboarding, they do an awful lot of outdoor stuff anyway. Let's take a look at their website just to see a bit more about them. First thing that I noticed was that it says they're the official supplier to the US ski team, which is quite interesting. So I think that's for helmets and goggles. But as I said, they do a lot of other things. So pumps, I don't know quite what these pumps are for, but obviously helmets, skateboard helmets and cycling helmets, sun shelters and tents, and they've got a list of all kinds of the sports that they have products for. So they do an awful lot of stuff. If you look at the skate area there, so it looks like they do some electric skateboards as well as helmets for kids and adults, some longboards, some kids pads, but interesting. And they obviously have some discount codes for some sales going on, but so this is really what we are looking at. So this helmet looks like it's $29.99 on sale from $65. I mean, $29.99 sounds about right for the kind of price that a lot of skateboard helmets are. This is perhaps a bit cheaper, and obviously a variety of colours. My favourite blue they seem to have, which is pretty good, and the regular kind of small, medium and large. For some reason I think they have a different price depending on whether you're buying from the US or Canada. Doesn't mention the UK though, which is interesting. I don't know whether they are going to ship to the UK, but we can certainly find out. So it says it's ASTM and CPSC certified, and as I said before, I don't know what those mean, but I think they are USA certifications. Yeah, it just shows you some info about the helmet themselves, all the stuff I've kind of shown you already. So it gives you that extra thick liners, so 0.16 inches or 0.24. My helmet did come with these both, I just didn't show you in this video. And I guess they say it's suited for all kinds of wheeled sports. They've got a video about the sizing, but as I say, the sizing kind of didn't quite work out for me, so take that as you will. Does mention about the airflow, which I noticed, and the sizing available, and some details on the specifications there, and lots of reviews. I'll leave you to take a look at that site yourself. I'll leave a link in the description below, and take a look for yourself and see what you think. So I'm going to leave it there. Probably way too much talking. Just to say it's a pretty cool helmet, and I've got nothing bad to say about it apart from my head is a funny shape. So yeah, thanks for sending it to me, Outdoor Master. Thanks for the hat. It sent me a t-shirt as well. So thanks for all those things. And as I said initially, they haven't paid me to say any of this. This is my thoughts, my observations, and I hope you take that at face value. Judge for yourself from there. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will be back with another video very soon. Take care.